Sophie couldn't focus, a single thought haunting her. Has anyone told Tedros about... No, Professor Dovey answered, rising from her seat. Telling Tedros will surely lead to him doing something rash, especially since we've yet to learn how his friend died. The island of Avalon, then, should be at the first stop on your new quest. Even if you can't guess through the castle's gates, you might find clues as to what Chadwick was doing there. Sophie's mind went gauzy, as if she was trying to wake from a dream. Dead friends, bodies to be buried, a mysterious threat. How quickly things change in a fairy tale. A few minutes ago, she was the host of a woe-licking party that finally helped her turn the page and begin a new chapter. But now, she was facing a new quest far away from school, where her life would be as much at risk as the friends' lives she had to save. Only she wasn't ready to leave this place. After 3 years, she had found her way out of a fairy tale and wouldn't let herself be dragged back into one. And the best part about being evil was that she could admit this without guilt. The new and improved Sophie could accept the selfish traits of her soul as much as the generous ones, which meant that no matter how terrible she felt for Chadwick and the rest of her old friends out there in the dark, endless woods, Sophie wouldn't be the one to help them. I'm afraid I'm dean of a school just like you, Professor Dovey, entrusted with more than 100 students. I can't just abandon them, Sophie decided. I don't care what your map says. Hester, Annabelle, and Dot will do just fine on their own. The three witches blinked at each other, as if that telepathically made a wish and had it granted. Professor Dovey tightened her silvery bun. Sophie, you might be a dean, but you are also a 4th-year student, which means I can change your quest just like you changed the thoughts. And once a dean assigns your quest, you must accept it or be sent to the brig of betrayers. Don't you threaten me, Clarissa, Sophie retorted, watching Dovey wince at her first name. You can't tell me what to do. I know you want to get rid of me, given how fond of evil your good students are, and this gives you the perfect excuse. You think this is about you? I should have known. Every time it seems you have changed, I'm reminded how selfish you can be, said Professor Dovey. Your first 3 years you trampled on students of both schools to further your own arrogant, often cowardly goals. You punished them, tormented them, betrayed them, and yet they forgave you and even obeyed you as their dean in the remaining months of their 3rd year. They showed you the loyalty you never once showed them. Now, these same classmates are in peril and need your help. Which means the story isn't your anymore, Sophie. It's about them. But if you would like to make it about you, then think of it this way. This is no longer a tale about whether you will find fame or fortune or your perfect little happy ending. This is a tale about whether you are capable of growing from the snake of your own story into the hero of someone else. That is your new quest. That is the tale the historian is waiting to write. Sophie went quiet, her emerald eyes fixed on the elder dean. A dark crimson spread into her cheeks, and for a moment she looked less like Eva's leader and more like a chastened child. She is coming, isn't she? Hester mumbled, her demon-making faces. Please tell me you can turn a person to chocolate. Annabelle asked the dot. I have enough trouble with lantern cakes, thank you. Dot nipped. Sophie wasn't listening, her focus drifting to the party uphill. But who will take over as Eva's dean? She asked weakly. Professor Manley, said the elder dean, adding before Sophie could object. And I suspect his unpopularity will only increase your status once you return. If I return, you mean? Sophie corrected. She expected Professor Dauphin to reassure her, but the dean said nothing. And what about the new schoolmaster? Asked Hester. We spent the last 6 months combing the woods for someone who would best serve the school. New schoolmaster? That's your quest? To find a schoolmaster? Sophie asked, wheeling to Professor Dauphin. You left the choosing of the one person who has control over you and me to them. And I still would, Professor Dauphin said. But that's not to say that part of their assignment is over. You may very well come across the right candidates on your new quest, girls. And if you do, I expect a full report so I can interview them myself. This seemed to appease both the coven, who wanted to see the job through, and Sophie, who fully intended to supervise the schoolmaster's selection now that she was along for the trip.